I'm going to go over my Spyderco collection. Got this one recently in a trade. This is the Citadel. Long discontinued. I've also got an Embassy. I got this at a local knife shop and it's also discontinued. However, Blade Ops has brought it back. I think it's a limited run, so if you're interested in one of these, I would highly recommend grabbing it before they're all gone. Fairly small, much smaller than I thought. I know they make larger versions, but the handles, they feel kind of cramped to me. The Citadel is mint, pristine, so I'll never use this one. I actually keep it in its little baggie in its box. This is one of the few knives that I'll truly collect and not put to use. This is the Efficient, one of their budget lines. I did a sharpening video with this guy. It has a terrible main grind on it. Really something awful. I showed it off in that video and discussed it there if you're curious. I got this one from JT's Knife Life. This is Assault H1 steel. He gave this to me for sharpening a bunch of his D2 blades. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he felt obligated to give me something, so he tossed this knife my way, and I was interested in H1 steel, so I figured why not. Plus I like the Endura. It's actually one of the first knives I bought that was by Spyderco. These are pretty much the same knife, just one's a full flat grind, the other is a saber. This one is in VG10. I'm not a super big fan of VG10. I actually think AUS 8 holds an edge better than this stuff. I'm sure plenty will disagree with me, but it's just my own personal anecdotal use. I've seen AUS 8 hold an edge better. Mannix 2 and lightweight. Maximate steel. I put a patina on it. And I've sharpened this guy a bunch of times. There's plenty of videos floating around showing it off. This one's it gets a ton of use at work. I really have taken a liking to Maximate. It's fantastic steel. Regular S30V Mannix 2. This is the one with the full steel liners. Had no idea how stout this knife was until I got it. This is a tank of a knife. And Spydercos are really designed for cutting. So if you use your knives, you can't go wrong with this brand. It's a Southern. They discontinued this. I don't know why. I really like the blade shape. I guess because it looks like a banana. Maybe that's why they got rid of it. Whatever the case, I like this knife. A lot of guys switch out these brown G10 handles for carbon fiber and custom stuff. I really like the texture and the grip that these provide, so I've never felt the need to change them. CTS 204P, which is similar to M390 and 20CV if I'm not mistaken. This is the Sage. I had this one anodized by Blades We Love. Check them out on Instagram. They've also got an eBay store. Do amazing work with anodizations. It's pretty faded right now. It's got a lot of oil from my fingers and handling on it, but in the right light and when it's cleaned up, it's got a purple and blue fade that's really nice. Tenacious. I've polished this blade. Off and on, I'll just grab the flits, throw a coat on, buff it up. And I'll do that, I don't know, once every 3 or 4 months. And it's slowly but surely getting a mirror polish from it. Another budget line knife. I got these one year for my family at Christmas. My brothers and all the guys in the family. It went over pretty well. These are just the first step into Spydercos normally. Titanium military, like Benchmade. I don't think Spyderco should do frame locks. This is one of the worst knives I've ever purchased. Lockup is almost past 100%. It's to the point where it's almost on the other side of the line. It's incredibly difficult to disengage. The detent is really hard. There are times where I can't even get this knife to open. It's so difficult. Pretty heavy. I don't know. I bought it on a whim, and I should have just gotten the standard G10 military. I would have been much more satisfied. The Autonomy 2. This is their new automatic knife. The Autonomy 1 has serrated blades. This one is a plain edge, an LC200N. Got a video showing this one being sharpened. I made mention that while sharpening one of the Lone Ranger's knives, as I wiped the swarf off this way, it created scratches going perpendicular to the scratch line Spyderco has. And I didn't think that actually occurred on my particular knife, but looking at it in the right light, I can actually see those scratch lines going that way. So I think LC200N is some really soft stuff, and you got to pay attention. There you go, you can see it pretty well there. Those lines right at the bevel, and it goes up about half an inch or so. So if you go to sharpen this stuff, make sure you tape the blade. Paramilitary 2. Everybody's familiar with this knife, like the Benchmade 940. It's just one of those quintessential everyday carries. And that's it. That's all my Spydercos. When I first saw this brand, I did not like the knife shapes. I thought they all looked the same. It took getting one in hand and actually using it before I began to appreciate them. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. Y'all have a good one.